Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Isaac Joel, right here with the critics at Agents of Fandom. When you see something strange in the neighborhood, who are you gonna call? Be sure to like and subscribe this video and stay up to date with any future reviews that we have coming out. I had the opportunity to check out Sony's latest film, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. I was very excited and anticipating this film. This is the return of the franchise. Really, everything is back to where it belongs. We are heading back to New York City, where everything is bigger and better. You have a lot more sets, you have a bigger budget. Everybody knows that your movie is automatically 10 times better once you head off to New York. Jason did it from Friday the 13th. Scream has done it, and now the Ghostbusters is back home right where it belongs. And I would like to say that Afterlife really does walk so that Frozen Empire can run, have all the fun in the world that it can to deliver to an audience. I loved this film. Is it the best movie ever made? Absolutely not. It is one of the most entertaining Ghostbusters movie thus far. I mean, the bar is set really low with these films. Critically, not a lot of people enjoyed Ghostbusters 2, you know, from the original cast. That was just awful. Just one of the most lamest attempts at coming back. One of the worst sequels that I've ever seen, honestly. It just does the same thing again, but for children, and make it a little bit more PG, a little bit more kid-friendly. And that's not what you want to do. That's what they did with Star Wars today. And with Ghostbusters, there has to be this perfect balance where adults can come in and watch it and have a lot of fun, and teenagers can come and watch it, and young kids can come and watch it. And I understand at the end of the day, the studio really just wants to sell toys, merchandise, everything that it can to commercialize this franchise. And it is a money-making cow for sure. When I saw Afterlife, directed by Jason Reitman, who is the son of Ivan Reitman, the original director, the creator of Ghostbusters, I was then convinced that nobody should ever attempt to come back and to try and direct one of these films unless it's Jason Reitman himself. And I was really disappointed to hear that he only took a producer credit in this. Now, I've seen a little bit of the behind the scenes. I am a big fan of Mythbusters. I did see that they went on the set to look at all the props and everything that they built, and Jason Reitman was there. He was leading the ship, and honestly, I'm glad that he set up all the pieces for whoever can come in now to just make it a lot better. Just go further into it, have a lot of fun with these characters. For the most part, I am pleased with this film. I am shockingly surprised at how well it came out. One of my biggest takeaways from the film is that the OG characters and cast have something to do. They have a pivotal role in the film. They no longer just show up at the last 10 minutes and just help out and just say a couple of one-liners. Oh, you remember this? Oh, you remember that? No, they actually are fully fleshed out characters once again, and they have something to do when it comes to steering the ship in the direction that it needs to go, and they blend in perfectly with the new characters. It kind of reminds me of like X-Men Days of Future Past, you know, when the OG and the new cast, they all come together and get along, and it's just it's magic. It's beautiful, especially when it doesn't feel like that forced nostalgia, like you're just shoving this down my throat, like, oh, remember this, remember that. And believe me, this movie does do that. It does have its attempts at like, oh, remember this? Hey, remember that? Hey, look at this, look at that. Let's start getting to the cast. The cast is bigger and it is better. Dan Aykroyd is my particular standout role. He probably has a lot more to do than any of the other OG characters and cast themselves. It plays into the nostalgia in the best of ways. It never feels forced. It never feels out of place. The practical effects to me is what's so iconic about the entire series, that if you can blend together CGI and find ways to do puppeteers and practical effects, you know, when people are actually getting slime timed on, or lights are actually reflecting off of people's skin, and it's not just something that they do in post. Like, it's actually there. They know what it is that they're filming. They're not in the volume. They're not on these like fake sets, but they're actually right there, and they know what it is that they're filming. They know what character is going to be standing in front of them. They're not just standing in front of a green screen, which is what I love about this film, but it does look a little bit polished. It does look like at times, especially at the fire station, which most of the film does take place there, it's a set. I believe they built it in like London or the UK or something. This has become like a normal thing now where they just film most movies out in the UK. I think maybe because it's cheaper, or someone lives out there and they're like, I don't want to leave home, you know. But for me, like, you only get the right effect when you're in the environment. I wish that they actually shot this in New York. I am positive that they did not shoot this film in New York. All of it had to be on sound stages or in Atlanta or the UK, or just mixing it all kind of together. I doubt anything was ever shot at New York, and that's kind of a bummer. My expectation for this film was a little bit heading towards another direction, which I wish it kind of went more in that route, but I love what it is that I received at the end of the day. But for me, I was looking for a little bit more of a coming age story. I mean, hey, it takes place at summer. Literally, it's summer vacation. I think it would have been awesome to have some montages, see the kids, you know, go to the beach, see some iconic landmarks in New York, really soak up that time of being at that young of an age and trying to have fun, but also you're so hell-bent on being a Ghostbuster and helping out your family and saving the city and the world. Like, those are really good themes and elements that they could be overlaying on top of each other, but really they kind of just opt out for that to just focus on the action, to just focus on the history. And believe me, I love the folk tale and the legends and the story that they are setting up in this film. This is something that I think that they always wanted to do with all the other films. You know, they wanted to interject a little bit of like interstellar travel or other dimensions, other gods, other figures. It was never supposed to just be Zool or just dog demon monsters or whatever the hell that they've been doing. But it was always supposed to evolve. And some people look at the video games, the comic books, or even the cartoons and see the evolution and see the different avenues that they're able to jump into. And I think Frozen Empire, in a way, perfectly sets up whatever it is that they want to do in the future. Afterlife is a perfect small indie film. You know, it's Ghostbusters on an indie scale, and I love that about it. It is so heartwarming. Like, it's Bumblebee to me, and then this is like Rise of the Beasts or whatever. It's just like more action, more bigger, more epic, and it is that. It does fulfill all of those fantasies and those elements. However, it is missing a little bit of that heart. It is missing a little bit of that soul, and I think that they could have focused a little bit more on that than as opposed to the fire bending elements and superhero eternal things that they were bringing into this. It kind of takes a weird turn at moments. McKenna Grace's character, Phoebe, at one point gets a ghost friend. She's like at the park playing chess, and then all of a sudden the pieces start moving, and then this weird force ghost thing pops up and starts talking to her very normally, nonchalant. And it's very kind of awkward at points. It's kind of cringy, to be honest with you, because it just doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it's pretty predictable that, oh, she's using her and maybe she's going to, you know, betray her, use her for something, get whatever she needs to fulfill some big evil plan. And it's right there in front of you. But I wish that they just, you know, stop tiptoeing around whatever it was that they were doing and just go all the way with it. There's a lot more laughs in this film and a lot more crowd pleasing cheering moments. I saw it with a huge crowd and they loved it. They loved every minute of it. They were cracking up, and when they were cracking up, I was cracking up. Seriously, this film acknowledges that at one point the Ghostbusters were like essentially commercialized. They were like propaganda. They even show clips from the music video, and you see Dan Aykroyd, you see Bill Murray, you see everybody in there dancing with Ray Parker Jr., and it's pretty hilarious to think that all of this is canon. This is all like real. This all actually happened. They bring back a lot of the old characters. The mayor, the assistant. She finally suits up and gets to shoot the proton pack. And I loved watching everyone actually do something in this one. Paul Rudd, like I haven't even acknowledged that Paul Rudd in this film returned, and he actually has something to do other than just being a possessed demon dog, which was like that Rick Moranis bit, again playing into like, oh, remember that nostalgia thing. But this time around, everybody is busting ghosts. Everybody gets a chance on the screen to do something, to be the hero of the story, and I love that. I feel like everyone shares the screen equally. In preparation of this film, I did go back and watched all the films, including the Melissa McCarthy Answer the Call Ghostbusters film, and I will admit that no, that film is not great. It does have a couple of cool elements in there. And so I think we were really, really harsh on that film when it came out. It was during that whole like era of like Me Too, and people just did not want to see like female Ghostbusters. That just was not like on the table for anybody. It just didn't appeal to anyone. And I do think that there was a bit of a disconnect, only because the characters in that film are just these brilliant scientists, but there's no humanity to their characters. There's nothing for you to kind of latch onto and compare yourself to or connect to as an audience member. They're just kind of giving this science mumbo jumbo throughout the entire film until you get to some weird wonky final act. However, there's a couple of solid jokes. The cast is pretty damn good in that film. I like to make the argument that you can, with Ghostbusters 3, whatever they do after Frozen Empire, make a No Way Home style film where you connect everybody now into it. Nobody is died off. No, everybody is still here. Everybody's still there. I know there were talks around that Sony hack time when they wanted to do like a multiverse Ghostbusters film where they were going to like jump into other universes and connect with other monsters and other demons and other gods. This is before Marvel were even talking about that at all. So I do think that there is still an opening for them to go bigger with it. You know, don't just make the same film again where some great god that wants to come and end the world or take over, and you know, by the end of the film we know that they're gonna win, we know they're gonna come out top. We need real stakes now. Like seriously, like go dark. Give me like an Infinity War Endgame style where like they lose and the world is like overtaken by ghosts, and now they have to come back and build new technology, new gear, and stop them. Maybe like they're outcasts. Maybe they are banned from the government and can no longer do this anymore. I do think that they need to step it up a notch. They really do. This is a fun, entertaining film, but I do think the future is bright for Ghostbusters. I think that there is a lot of potential for them to look at and dive into. Do you have plans on checking out Frozen Empire this weekend? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below or tweet at me at It's Isaac Joel, and we can talk all you want about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I, in my opinion, think that this is my new favorite of the entire franchise. Like it takes the cake. It's bigger, it's better, it's more action packed. The laughs are 10 times more. The OG cast is stronger than ever. The new cast is really fun, and they're just having so much fun on set. As always, I have been your host, Isaac Joel, with the critics at Agents of Fandom. I'll catch you next time.